The power is cruising. Phil Taylor leads 4-1, first to 6. And Dave Chisnall, who had a match earlier on, coming through against Kyle Anderson, just hasn't been able to replicate the sort of form he produced there. And he's going to have to be absolutely at his best now if he's going to turn this around. Hard to see it happening, frankly.
Yes. Interesting. Phil's using slightly different flights this evening. He's been finding his darts were kicking slightly to the right. So on the doubles down the left-hand side, it was, well, probably the majority of the board, if they're inside, was blocking a lot of the target area. So he's had some flights slightly re-engineered.
100.
So I'm sure we will get a look at. Slightly smaller.
100.
Still kicking right.
He's one of those great tinkerers, isn't he? With
well, when you consider, think back in the day, he used an Eric Bristow dart, and then they modified that into the dart he used for many years, and then he completely switched to a John Lowe type of dart, which has now been totally re-engineered.
100.
Is it just a question as a, I mean, you must know this as a pro darter yourself, is it like the guy who's the weekend golfer who it's just not quite working for you and you sort of think, yeah, go on, I'll buy a new set of clubs and it's just going to try and change it round?
Yeah, I think so, but on a totally different level. I mean, the Target do some amazing designs and engineering. They really looked into it, as do all the manufacturers now. But I just wonder if sometimes it can be a little bit too much. You know, obviously if there can be improvements can be made, then you go for it. But I think it's such a, I've seen one of these today already, such a busy schedule that if you change something it doesn't work and it takes you a couple of months to.
Well, 142 here for Chisnall.
Could stay there.
180.
Well, it's a decent visit, but 68 for Taylor for 5-1, and another one would be against the throw. Double 4. Twos.
64.
Only 4 out of 14 for Phil Taylor. 29% checkout rate. He'll be disappointed with that.
Yeah, that's not Taylor-esque. Neither is that. 7 for double 4.
Can't believe what's happening.
No. Take your shoes and socks off, Dave. You need to count. Oh, it's bust.
So we require 4.
Wow.
Oh dear. Double 2 then for Taylor. And this time, surely. 5-1. Chizzy is just not the same man for whatever reason as earlier on.
He's not settled up there at all.
No, he's not.
This for a unconvincing routing.
Well, he was the gambling favourite, wasn't he? 100 to 30 before it started, Phil Taylor. 100 to 30 on, of course, that is.
See, I'm not sure whether going for the smaller flight is the way forward, because his darts are still drifting right. I think he needs to go for a slightly bigger flight and then get more balance in the air.
You can tell him.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward, that.
85.
I think I'd end up getting on the end of, hang on a minute, what have you ever won?
You've had 1 or 2 of those exchanges in years gone by, I seem to recall.
Yeah, we're
let's not go there, eh?
No, we're friends now.
Well, he's closing in. Not on a finish yet. Chisnall needs a big score right now, and it's not coming.
93.
140 would leave double 18, and that would be it. That would be all she wrote.
140.
Happy days on the money, Chris. Taylor poised. Well, this is a good response, but too late, one would suspect. Just the double 18. The denouement. Minor adjustment. Thank you very much. Game over. And Phil Taylor winning very, very easily. 6-1. Easy win that.
Started with a 13 darter and finished the match with a 14 darter. A 96 average. The vast majority would be happy enough with that. I don't think he will be.
Well, he started so well, didn't he? He blasted out of the blocks, and then the game was kind of almost decided by the first interval, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And then Dave came out of that and just didn't respond at all. I mean, there was still a match on. Didn't have a lot of fight in him there. That happens. I think we've seen that from a lot of players who played a match already today and found it hard to generate the adrenaline needed and focus to get up there and repeat the afternoon's performances.
And through to play Stephen Bunting in the next round. Well, Phil Taylor going well and looking as though he is going to be very, very much a contender for this title. He's just come in to touch gloves effectively with my co-commentator Chris Mason. He's very happy and he's won it 6-1.
Well, Phil Taylor once again getting the better of Dave Chisnall on the big stage, making light work of him tonight though, winning 6-1. And he'll meet Stephen Bunting next. 96 average for Phil Taylor. 180s tonight, 32% of his double attempts converted. Alan Warren a little is back with me up here. What did you make of it all?
Well, he didn't have to get in first gear, did he? Dave really struggled to find that spark all the way through the game that we've seen him with a big finishing and big scoring. It just never happened on a regular basis early on in the game. And once he got behind, he found it hard to get back.
Well, let's hear from Phil Taylor, who's just won that match. He's talking to Ned.
He has indeed just won the match, and he's won it in emphatic style. I wouldn't imagine you would have expected to beat Dave Chisnall 6-1.
No, I think it was tough for Dave today. Two games in one day is tough, and you know he's going to take the toll from especially playing in the afternoon and then playing late at night. So I've got to take advantage of him.
Where are you at with your game, Phil? It looked like everything was in good working order there.
I'm fine. I've been tinkering again, Tinker Taylor.
I was going to say, where are you at with the tinkering? What's the tinkering?
I've altered my flights a little bit. I've just shaved a little bit off. I can't tell you how much, but it's not much. I've given Chris Mason a set, so then he knows them because he's always, you know, he is a good commentator and he always commentates on what people do. So I said, there you go. Now you can have a look, and it's not much. It's just little tiny fractions, probably an eighth of an inch shorter than what I did before.
Yeah, and it's making a difference.
Massive, massive. Trust me, massive.
Yeah. Now, how's your relationship with Scotland? Did you enjoy the welcome that they gave you? I mean, you were expecting it, weren't you? Because the crowd were always going to express what they felt.
What do you mean?
A little bit of booing there, Phil.
Listen, I get that when I go home. It doesn't make any difference. Listen, they're entitled. They come out, they pay the money. God bless them. Do you know what I mean? And they're going to support who they want to support. So if they want to come out tomorrow and support Barney or support me or support Gary Anderson, that's up to them.
Didn't look like it affected you one bit today, and on you march, and it's Stephen Bunting in the next round.
Not at all. No, of course it's not. I mean, we are getting a little bit used to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So it's water off a duck's back. I mean, half the people don't know me, so if they want to boo me, boo me. If they want to love me, love me. It doesn't really make any difference to me now. To be honest with you, I'm used to it.
On your march, see you in action tomorrow.
On march, on your set, go. Thank you. Cheers, man.
Well, the fans here in Glasgow were even booing Phil Taylor on the big screen just now when they were watching that interview. Well, he lost, of course, in the final in Wolverhampton last week to Michael van Gerwen. He's up next here in Glasgow against Robert Thornton, who will be having the home crowd behind him. How'd you see that going?
The crowd's getting ready, isn't it? Michael will find it hard. Some players, when they're in that crest of a wave of hitting everything, they want things to go their own way, and when the crowd's against them a little bit and you miss a double, it can sometimes affect you. They'll really be behind Robert, and he'll jump up there and he'll be like a cat on hot springs. He'll want to do his best for the crowd and for himself, obviously.
Yeah, he was so fired up earlier, wasn't he?